What's up, guys? So, if you remember, I did a video like 2 years ago. It was like 10 second tier death metal albums, and I said I'm gonna do a black metal one. Well, here's that video. So, better late than never, I guess. So, before we get into it, what we are listening to, some good modern Finnish stuff. So this is Aetheric with Apotheosis. So I'm only missing this band's most recent record, but to compare them to something, I would say like if Cosmic Church was more focused on being aggressive instead of atmospheric, I guess. So yeah, awesome band. So if you like Cosmic Church, you want a band filling that void, they're definitely one of the better ones. So yeah, good stuff. Came out through the Sinister Flame. Never heard of the label, but I got my copy through Dark Descent, and they have all this stuff on CD and LP, and I think tape for sale. So if you want to get their stuff, get it through Dark Descent. I actually think they're missing their last record, but they have the rest of them. So yeah, good shit. Probably my favorite record by them, but they're all awesome. Alright, let's do the CDs first, I guess. So this band's from Belgium. I believe I mentioned this album on my appearance of Heavy Metal Urgy. We went through 1996, but I'll mention it again because why not? This is Enthroned Rites with the Diabolical Masquerade. These guys are from Belgium. Pretty unique band within the scene, which the albums after the first two were decent, but this one is definitely, I think, their high point. So they're like a thrashy Viking black metal band. So if, like, if Falcon was mixed with Swordmaster, I guess, but they're not Norwegian, so they definitely have their own unique sound because of the other location of their, like, region or whatever. So yeah, obviously Belgium's not exactly the high watermark for black metal like Norway or Sweden or like Poland or Greece, but there's definitely some good bands that came out of there regardless though. So yep, check it out. Definitely my favorite by them. Like I said, their first two albums were still stellar. So yep, there you go. Enthroned Rites, the Diabolical Serenades. Like I said, it came out in 1996. This is a Soul Seller Records reissue. So this isn't my favorite record by this band, but my favorite I've mentioned several times, and this one I don't think gets enough love because I've seen people say this is like the worst album. I completely disagree. So let me pull this out. So this is Diabolical Masquerade with the Phantom Lodge. So as far as this band's discography goes, they had 4 albums, and I like them in the order that they came out. So the first record is my favorite. This is second, third is third, fourth is fourth. So they're definitely one of those bands where every album sounds like a completely different band. So this is definitely, I would say, like a black thrash record, kind of. Their first one's more like just kind of melodic, symphonic black. Their third one's like kind of avant-garde, and their fourth one sounds like it should be the soundtrack for some like dystopian movie or something. So yeah, underrated record, I think. My favorite song by them is actually on this one. That is Hater. That's a super like ripping, awesome, killer black thrash song. And there's some cool, almost like King Diamond-y heavy metal vocal parts on this record too. So that is awesome. This came out in 1997. Yeah, 97 on Peaceful. This is a Peaceful 2021 reissue. So if you like stuff like, again, like I said, Swordmaster or the second Dodheim's Guard record, this is definitely one of the better albums in that style. I don't think gets enough praise because everyone seems to either mention the debut or the third album. This one kind of gets like middle child syndrome, I guess. But anyway, there you go. Diabolical Masquerade, the Phantom Lodge. This band I think is also from Belgium. I don't remember offhand. It's either Belgium or Austria. It's one of those two. This is Enthroned with Prophecies of Pagan Fire. Yeah. So this came out in 1995, so I mentioned this in my like 95 Golden Year of Black Metal video. Definitely the best, but I'm a big fan of the era with the original singer. Once he left, I don't know if it was going to happen anyway, but without him, they kind of fell apart and became pretty boring, but their initial run was awesome. So compare them to something, definitely in the vein of like Marduk or Dark Funeral, but I think way better than Dark Funeral, and honestly, maybe better than most Marduk records. I mean, Heaven Shall Burn is definitely a favorite, but this I think destroys like Nightwing, Panzer Division. Those are the unlike. I don't know, man, just more memorable, better vocals, better drumming. But yeah, I mean, I love that cover too. I kind of want the LP, but I have like a CD box set that has the first 5. I think that's good enough. But yeah, killer record. Yep, awesome shit. So again, if you like this super fast, crazy, it's not as like super blasty, but you know, it's like faster than like your average stuff. So there you go, Enthroned. Prophecies of Pagan Fire. And I forgot to mention earlier why I call these like second tier. These are second tier for people that like only know the big bands. If you know like your black metal, you're gonna know all of these. But if you only know like your Dark Throne, Bosoms, Tyrcon, Emperor, Mayhem, Goguroth, you probably won't know these. But these are for people that like you actually know what you're talking about. You just don't know the big boys or whatever. So I compared this band to Ancient Rites earlier. So this is Falcon with some shit I can't pronounce. I don't remember what this one's called, but I know it's, I'm gonna say self-titled, but that doesn't seem right. Whatever, not important. Their first album, which is in German, so I'm not gonna attempt to butcher that, but yeah. So my favorite record by them is their third one, which is, I think it's third or fourth. This one's my favorite. This is Okay Nefida Transpirtai. But this came out in 2003, so I won't this to 90s only. But again, I'm obviously a big fan of anything that is like in the Viking Bathory style. So this is definitely, I would say, the rawest and definitely the most like straightforward black metal. They definitely got more pagan and like epic sounding later. I mean, you can even tell by the artwork, it's pretty much inspired by that. So I mean, just look at it side to side. Pretty obvious, but yep. I think this is a one-man project. I know they're German, so that's pretty sweet. Definitely one of the better bands from the German scene. Though I think they haven't done an album in a few years. I think their last one was like 2017, so they're definitely due for a new one. But oh well. Again, if you like that Viking style, check it out. Falcon with the album I'm gonna butcher, so I'm not gonna try. But yep, there you go. Here's a band from the Greek scene. I don't think it's enough attention because when you talk about those bands, you talk about like Rotting Christ, Necromantia, Varathron. This band doesn't really seem to get mentioned that often, but I think they definitely deserve it. So this is Legion of Doom with Kingdom of Endless Darkness. So this is definitely not a lot. This is definitely faster than like your average like Rotting Christ or Varathron record. I mean, though there is a like definite, you can tell it's Greek, they have that like very typical kind of like traditional epic metal riffing style that a lot of those bands seem to have, which is a very cool different way of being melodic, unlike the like Swedish bands who were faster as like being their way of melodic. But it's a cool different approach of taking the same influences but putting their own unique spin on it. I'm honestly not really familiar with the albums after this one, but from this one, it's definitely, of what I've heard, the best. Like I said, I've only heard like parts of the albums after this, but what I've been told is this one is still the best, so yep. Great record. Not sure why this didn't get mentioned that often, maybe because I think, honestly, a lot of people seem to be kind of late to the Greek scene. I'm not sure why, like it's not as popular as like Norway or Sweden, but oh well. Or even Finland nowadays, but who knows, maybe labels or whatever, but there you go. Check it out. Legion of Doom, Kingdom of Eternal Darkness. Alright, so here's one of the, I would say, more like well-known, like second-tier Swedish ones, I guess. So this is Mythos with In the Sign of the Raven. So I mentioned their second record in my like overlooked black metal albums video that I did a while ago. I still stand by the second one as my favorite, but this I would say is definitely the most popular one, so that's why I want to choose this one. And I think the second record was 2000 also, so yeah. This came out in 1997, Invasion Records. This is a Death Records reissue from, does not say what year, but oh well. So again, if you like that Viking stuff like Bathory, Falkenbach, Thriving, Manogram, stuff like that, you can definitely tell immediately they are from Sweden. When you hear like a Viking band from that part of the world, you definitely know it's from that scene. So anyway, there you go. Their third record is kind of almost like black and like folky kind of a little bit power metal-y, which is kind of weird because I know after this band broke up, they became Falconer, which you would definitely hear their third record's like a proto-Falconer album, but oh well. The first two are definitely the best, though. Like I said, the second one's my favorite, but there you go. Mythos in the Sign of the Ravens. Except for C, let's go to some wax. So this isn't my favorite record by this band, but I think I mentioned my favorite one in the 96 stream, and somebody else mentioned that recently too, so I wanted to pull this one, because this one doesn't seem to get mentioned as often as the second and third album. This is Christ Agony with Unholy Union. So of their first three records, this is definitely, I would say, their slowest. It's like barely any like fast parts at all. When I think of Polish black metal, though, I'm honestly not super familiar with like the old scene. Like that's definitely one of the countries as far as black metal I'm like the weakest in. So I need to check out some more of that stuff. But from like what I know about the scene, they don't have the typical like pagan-y elements of like early Graveland or Behemoth. They definitely have their own unique sound, which is pretty cool. So to me, this basically sounds a lot like Rotting Christ. Not Rotting. Well, there's Rotting Christ in here, but I meant Samael, which is like Blood Ritual era Samael mixed with a little bit of the first two Rotting Christ. Though I would say the Rotting Christ influences came a little bit later, and they had some like death metal influences on one of them. I think it's Act 2. Yeah, I think it's Act 2 where they have like a super fast part that sounded like it could have been like on a D-side record. There's pretty much none of that. There is none of that at all in here. Definitely their slowest and most patient. So if you like I said, early Samael is definitely a killer record for this super slow and awesome haunting black metal. So there's the front. I love their logo too. Definitely the best artwork though, I will say. And the back you can see only 4 songs. This is like a 45-minute record too, so there's that. There's a Deforming Productions repress from 2022. Never heard of that label, but oh well. Gatefold, just the lyrics and stuff. And then insert with just credits, I think. Yeah, credits and like where it was recorded or whatever. And then another insert, just the same album artwork. And then the vinyl color on this one is just black, so I'm not gonna bother pulling that out. And the labels are boring too, so I'm not gonna bother showing that. So man, if you're a fan of early Samael and early Rotting Christ, and you want something in that vein, this is definitely one of the better, like, slower black metal albums. Good shit. Christ Agony, Unholy Union. Alrighty, so next up is a band from Norway. I don't think gets nearly enough attention, especially on YouTube. So this is Ragnarok with a Rising Realm. So this is honestly the main thing that influenced making this video. Well, this and the Christ Agony are the 2 ones I knew I was going to pull, because when I decided to pull the records for this, those were the first 2 I decided to pull. But yeah, man. So these guys, I would say, to compare them to some, it's like, they have keyboards, but I wouldn't call it symphonic. It's definitely, I would say, compare them to like a more popular band. Gehenna, like the second spell and the first full length, so definitely first EP and first full length. I mean, I think second spell is an EP, but you know what I mean. So like early Gehenna, opposed to like Emperor or Limbonic Earth, it's definitely not that like in your face. They're definitely more in the background, but you can still hear them. So yeah. Later on, they got more aggressive and faster, but I still think this is their best record, but all the ones I've heard have been awesome. So anyway, this came out in 1997 originally. This is a Voices of Wonder and Head Not Found reissue, so that's cool. And then there's a way to know it is going to be an awesome record. I'll show you that in a second. There's the front. Love their logo. And you know it's going to be good because it has the 4 guys in frame, so that's like a key factor. Like a lot of the guys like back in the day, you know, like it was going to be good if it had that same picture layout. Which I know it's kind of dumb, but a lot of the best records like Dissection, Sacramentum, they all had that stuff, so pretty cool. There you go. Here is the... It's funny. Came with a Nuclear War Now thing, but I didn't buy this from Nuclear War Now, so I'm not sure what that was about. I bought this second hand, so maybe Nuclear will now have copies. It's with the person I bought it from, maybe. Here's the insert. And then this one is also on a black, so I'm not going to bother pulling that. But yeah, man, definitely one of the, I think, more underappreciated bands from Norway. Even like Hades and Eternus get more love than these guys do, but yeah, man, if you want some of the like best Norwegian black metal that came out just period, I think definitely check out. Like most of their albums are awesome, but I still think the first three is definitely the best. But for me, this is the one to get. If you're only gonna buy one, get this one. So that is A Rising Realm from 1997. Yeah, this might be a stretch because it's more like black and thrash, but I feel like talking about it anyway, so why not? So there's Sabbat with Evonum. Yeah, Evonum. So these guys are a like black and thrash band from Japan. They definitely got like less black metal later on, but like the last record I have is awesome, but it's like borderline like not even really black metal anymore. So this is definitely, I would say, a band in the 90s playing like early 80s or mid 80s style. So this came out I think in 92, but to compare it to something, it's definitely like a Bulldozer, the first Holocausto, and like early Bathory mixed together, opposed to like Darkthrone or something. So yeah, pretty cool. Not a lot of bands in the early 90s playing the throwback style, but they're definitely one of the best doing it. They have like a good amount of albums, like 11 or 12, and I don't think they ever battle one. They've never come close. This is maybe my favorite part to choose between the first like 3 or 4, but anyway. There's the front. Cool logo. Then the back. Put out through NWN and Evil Records, which I have like 4 of their, like 4 or 5 more of their albums, which I've never bothered showing for some reason. I guess I'll just eventually do like a Sabbat Japan collection video or whatever someday. There's the gatefold. Double LP on a cool blue. And then I love this etching. That's sweet. And bravo Nuclear War now for actually doing an etching you can see, because some labels do it and it looks pretty shitty, but this one you can actually see, so bravo. So hails to NWN for that. And here's a poster, just the album cover. Again, one of the best logos too. So of the 2 Sabbats, I definitely prefer these guys to the UK one. Though the UK one is awesome, but this band having like 11 albums compared to the other band having only 3 definitely gives them the edge. But there you go, man. Definitely one of the best black and thrash bands, period. It's either between them and Disaster for me. I don't know who's my favorite between those two. That'd be a tough call, but I probably have more. Well, let me think. I think it's about even, but as far as like having more vinyl, it's definitely these guys. But yep, check it out. Sabbat Evonum. Great shit. This came out in 1992, if I did not say that. Alright, the last one, we're going to Greece again. So I feel like Rotting Christ is like the only band from the Greek scene that could be argued like the first tier. I'm not sure why that is, but like I said, all the stuff from Greeks, people seem to be like coming in after the fact. Even people that were into the scene back then, I know have been like late to this style. I'm not sure why, but I'm guilty of that too. But anyway, what am I talking about? This is Thou Art Lord with Apollyon. So I know I mentioned this in the 1996 stream, but oh, I'm talking about it again because this album is awesome. So definitely the best record in my opinion. Although I only really like the first 2 if I'm honest, which their third album was not terrible, just kind of like seemed kind of half-assed and uninspired, but oh wow. So the first record was definitely, I would say, the more like stereotypical Greek sounding one, but again, this one they added some like black and thrash elements, which is pretty cool because you don't hear a lot of bands from the Greek scene like doing that, because they're definitely more like the mid-paced epic heavy metal style. But so it's cool to have a band from the Greek scene doing something different. But anyway, there's the front. The logo's kind of hard to read on this, so it's not a very good font choice, but oh well. Anyway, there's the front. Then the back, track listing was put out through Peaceville. Doesn't say what year this pressing is from, but I've had it for like 3 or 4 years, so I'm assuming like 2020 maybe. They definitely do not look black metal at all, but oh well. Here is the lyrics. And again, I just black simple labels, so whatever. Yeah, man, definitely one of the better albums from the Greek scene. Though my favorite album from that scene is, I know I know it's an obvious answer, but probably like Thy Body Contract, but well, not Thy Body Contract. What the fuck is the third one? I'm drawing a blank. It's gonna bug me. Whatever, you know what the third Rodney Christ record is. It's not important, but anyway. Again, definitely one of the better ones. I don't think it's enough attention. At least for me, it doesn't. So there you go. That Lord Apollyon. So that's it. I know I kind of blew through this, but I'm trying to keep my videos around 20 minutes, so they're not super long, but oh well. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found some cool new shit. But like I said, if you like actually know your stuff, I'm sure you'll know most of these, but this is more for the people that are like beginners or whatever, so I'm sure you'll find something cool to check out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye. Hails.